Okay, guys, let's go over 3.3.1. The first thing we need to do is we need to solve these equations. Okay, so we're going to draw us a wonderful math window. And then we'll fill it in. Okay, so we could do 6x minus 11 on top and 2x plus 5 on the side. And remember, it doesn't matter which side you put these on, just you could put the 2x plus 5 on top and the 6x minus 11 on bottom, or on the side, I mean. Okay, so now we just need to multiply what's inside. 6x times 2x. 6 times 2 is 12, and x times x is x squared. Now the negative 11. Negative 11 times 2x is 11 times 2 is negative 22. And that's an x. Okay, now we'll do the bottom row. 5 times 6 is 30. And then we've got an x. And then negative 11 times 5 is negative 55. Now we need to combine like terms. So let's see, we've got 12x squared minus 22x plus 30x minus 55. So the only ones that we can combine are the 22x and the 30x. So negative 22 plus 30 is 8x. And then we have our 12x squared. So 12x squared plus 8x minus a 55. And that's what we put up in our answer box. 12x squared plus 8x minus 55. Okay. All right, page 2, same thing. Or we could do, this time we can do a rainbow. So let's try that. We've got negative 2x squared times 15x squared minus 3y. Okay, we'll do our rainbow. Where we go? The arch 2x squared times 15x squared. Let me change that to red. 2x squared times 15x squared. Oh, that bell is super loud. Okay, negative 2 times 15 is a negative 30. And then x squared times x squared. That's 2 squares here, 2x is here, and 2x is here. So that's 4x's in all. Then we have, change it to green this time. So now we're going to go 2x squared times 3y. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. So positive 6. And then x squared times y is x squared y. Okay, so that's what we put in our answer box. Negative 30x to the 4 plus 6x squared y. Okay. All right, page 3. So page 3, we can do the same way, do a math rainbow. Oh, this one says solve the following in at least 2 different ways. Okay, so you've got to think of 2 different ways that you can solve this equation. So we've got 4 times x plus 3 equals 20. So we could do 4 times x plus 3 equals 20. The first thing we could do is we could do the rainbow, distribute our 4. So then we'll rewrite it 4x plus 12 equals 20, and then we solve for x. The other thing that we could do is we could say 4 times what equals 20. And we know that 4, there's that power cell again. 4 times 5 is 20. So that means all the stuff in the parentheses would equal 5. So x plus 3 equals 5. Then we solve for x. Okay. Another way that you could do it is you could say, oh, well, guess what? I know that I can divide both sides by 4. So I'm going to divide this side of the equal sign by 4 and this side by 4. So I'm undoing the multiplication. So then I'll have x plus 3 on this side, and then 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay, so there's 3 different ways. All right, David wants to solve for x in the equation 4 times x plus 3 equals 20. He said, I can rewrite this equation by distributing the 4 on the left side. After distributing, what should his new equation be? And then solve this equation. Okay, so that's the rainbow method. Distribution is the rainbow. So 4 times x plus 3 equals 20. And we just distribute our 4. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 3 is 12. And then that equals 20. And then we solve for x. And then as soon as you solve for x, put that answer right here. We need to subtract 12 from both sides. So then we have 4x equals 20, take away 12 is 8. So 4 times what is 8? And that's what x equals. Put that in the answer box. Okay, page 5. Juan says, I see the whole thing a different way. Here is how I look at it. Okay, so here's how he explains his approach to solving 4 times x plus 3 equals 20. He calls it undoing. Instead of distributing first, I want to eliminate the 4 from the left side by undoing the multiplication or dividing both sides by 4. Okay, so we've got 4 times x plus 3 equals 20. And then he did the undoing of multiplication by dividing both sides by 4. So that cancels this out. And then 20 divided by 4 is 5. So now we're left with x plus 3 equals 5. And now we can solve for x. What plus 3 equals 5? 2 plus 3 equals 5. So x equals 2. All right, page 6. Kenya said, I solved David's equation in a much quicker way. She solved the equation 4 times x plus 3 equals 20 with an approach she calls looking inside. Here's how she described her thinking. I think about everything inside the parentheses as a group. After all, the parentheses group all that stuff together. I think the contents of the parentheses must be 5. So why must the expression inside the parentheses equal 5? Well, the reason it must equal 5 is because 4 times 5 equals 20. So if everything inside the parentheses equals 5, then what is x? Okay, page 7. We look at each of these different equations and we match up to what type of method they use. So they have 5 times 8x equals 5 to the 24th power. So if 5 to the 8x equals 5 to the 24th, then 8x must equal 24. So think about what is that? What type of problem solving is that? Okay. And then after you pick one, then you need to explain why. So let's say it's rewriting. So instead of having the 5, they're just going to have the 8x equals 24. Okay. So rewriting because, and then just explain it to yourself. You could say because that's how that will simplify it, or you can say that's just writing down the powers. However you want to explain it to yourself. Okay. All right, page 8. Okay, what would this one be? Subtracting is the opposite of adding. So for the equation 3 times x minus 7 plus 4 equals 23, I can start by subtracting 4. So if subtracting is the opposite of adding, what would that be? Well, it would be undoing, right? Because you're undoing the addition. So explain your thinking to this one. You're basically explaining it to yourself, or you're explaining it to somebody who maybe isn't here today or something like that. Okay, page 9. How about this one? This problem might be easier if I turn 4 times 2x minus 3 equals 31 into 8x minus 12 equals 31. So what would that be? Would that be rewriting, looking inside, or undoing? You decide which one of those it is. And then explain it to yourself. All right, so now let's go to page 10. Page 10 says solving by rewriting. So this time we're going to rewrite things. Okay, so what we do is we take our second part of our equation, which is the x minus 1 times 5x plus 6, and we rewrite that. You can do that one of two ways. You can do the math window, or you can do the math rainbow, whichever you think is easiest. Okay, x minus 1 times 5x plus 6. And we'll do the rainbow. So we go x times 5x, that's 5x squared. And then x times 6 is 6x. Now we're going to multiply everything by -1. Okay, -1 times 5x is -5x. And -1 times 6 is -6. Now we need to combine like terms. So we've got 5x squared plus 6x minus 5x minus 6. We can combine the 5x and then the 6x and then -5x. 6x take away 5x is 1x. And then we have left 5x squared and a minus 6. Okay, so that's what goes on this side of the equal sign. Oh yeah, I can't highlight with my pen. Okay. Or with the mouse family. Okay, so that's what goes on this side. So now we need to set those two equal to each other. Okay, let's see, we'll pick orange now. We've got 5x squared plus 53 equals 5x squared plus x minus 6. We need to solve for x. So let's see, the first thing I see is that we have a 5x squared on both sides. That means we can subtract 5x squared to cancel those out. Okay, so now we have on this side 53 equals x minus 6. All right, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So I can add 6 to the -6, and I can add 6 to the 53. 53 plus, oh, that's supposed to be a 43. Oh my word. I knew that sounded weird, but you know, okay, let's change that into a 4. Oh, okay. 6 plus 43 is 49. And over here, the only thing we have left is our x. So 49 equals x. That's the answer we put right here. You can say 49 equals x, or you can say x equals 49. The second way is usually how they want it to be. That's like the more professional way to do it. All right, page 11. Okay, same thing. Dang, I got a frog. Let me drink some water. There we go. Okay, so the same, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna rewrite this first part, and then we have some part in the second part that needs to be rewritten. So we've got x plus 3 squared. So we're gonna square that. If we go x plus 3 times x plus 3, and then we just do the rainbow math. Okay, so we'll go x plus x times x is x squared, and then x times 3 is 3x. Now we'll do 3 times x, 3x, and then 3 times 3 is 9. Now we can combine like terms because we have a 3x and a 3x. So we'll write it x squared plus 3 plus 3 is 6, 6x plus 9. That equals this whole part after the equal sign. Okay, let's write that part down. Okay, that equals x squared minus 3 times 1 is 3, and then negative 3 times negative x is a positive 3x. All right. Okay, so now we're ready to solve for x. As I'm looking at this, I see, oh look, they have an x squared on both sides, so we can cancel those guys out. Subtract x squared, and now we have 6x plus 9 equals negative 3 plus 3x. Okay, 6x plus 9 equals negative 3 plus 3x. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So minus 3x, and that'll be 3x will be left. And then I'm also going to subtract 9 from both sides. So 6x minus 3x is 3x, and negative 3 subtract 9 is 12. Now I can divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So x equals 4. All right, we've got page 12. Okay, page 12 is a little bit wonky. It looks kind of scary, but we're really just doing the same exact thing. Okay. Very first, we're going to distribute our negative 2. We go negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4x squared. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 5 is a positive 10. Okay, so we've got that side of the equal sign all taken care of. Now we're going to work on the fraction. Okay, the fraction is 8x over 4y squared. That just means that we go 8x over 4y times 8x over 4y. Okay, 8 times 8, oh, before we do that, we can simplify our fraction. If you look and you see that there's an 8 and a 4, we know that that 4 goes into 8. So 4 goes into 4 once, and 4 goes into 8 2 times. Same thing over here. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 2 times. Now we're ready to multiply. We go 2 times 2 equals 4. X times x is x squared. Then on the bottom, y times y is y squared. All right, I need to now take my eraser and erase this so that we can add in our times 1 over y squared, y to the negative 2 power. Okay, let's talk about negative powers. If you have a negative power, that means it's a reciprocal. So you just need to flip it upside down. Okay, so that'll be times y squared over 1. All right, now we see, oh look, there's a y squared on top and a y squared on bottom. We can cancel those out. So now on this side, we just have 4x squared. So that equals 4x squared. Okay, now we're ready to solve for x. Right, we have 4x squared on both sides. So I'm going to start off, first of all, by subtracting 4x squared. Okay, so now we have negative 2x plus 10 equals 0. Now I need to get my x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. Okay, so on this side we've got negative 2x, and on the other side we have 0 minus 10 is a negative 10. Now all we need to do is divide by negative 2. And negative 10 divided by negative 2 is 5. So x equals 5. Okay, x equals 5. Enter. All right, let's see where we at. Okay, so there we go. We are done with that. So I will see you guys back here to work on the group lesson. Anyway, have a great rest.